They say you'll be ready when it happens. They say instinct will kick in, that the training will surface, that something inside you will rise. But they are wrong, because when disaster strikes, it doesn't send an invitation. It doesn't arrive when you're rested, ready, or rehearsed. It shows up at 2:17 a.m. when you're in bed, disoriented. It comes as a sudden crack in the earth, a roar of fire, a silence that hits just before the collapse. And in that moment, you will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of your training. And if there is no training, you will freeze. This is the silent truth no one wants to admit. Most people don't die because of the fire, or the flood, or the fall. They die because they waited. They froze. They told themselves, not yet. They thought someone else would lead. This channel was not created to scare you. It exists because most people think mindset is a luxury. But in survival, mindset is oxygen. The world is not short on information. We know how to evacuate buildings. We've been taught stop, drop, and roll. We know where the exits are. But knowledge doesn't move you. Mindset does. You know this because you felt it. The hesitation, the pause before you spoke up, the breath you held before acting. Now imagine that hesitation, when seconds decide whether you live or vanish. This is the survival mindset. It is not made in panic. It is made in practice. It is not gifted by nature. It is forged by design. And if no one has ever taught you how to build it, that ends today. Let me tell you a story. In 2001, on a quiet Tuesday morning, a man named Rescorla stood in his office on the 44th floor of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. He wasn't a firefighter. He wasn't a government agent. He was head of security for a financial firm. And when the first plane hit the North Tower, Rick didn't wait. He didn't look to anyone else. He didn't seek permission. He didn't say, "Let's wait and see." He pulled the fire alarm manually. He took a bullhorn. He began singing songs from the Vietnam War to keep people calm as they evacuated. Every single one of his company's employees, over 2,700 people, got out alive. Why? Because for years, Rick had forced them to rehearse evacuation drills. They hated it. They rolled their eyes. They said it would never happen. And then it did. That is the power of a trained mind. That is what we mean when we say, you do not rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training. Rick Rescorla didn't survive. He went back up to get more people. He was last seen on the 10th floor, still climbing. He died in the collapse. But he saved thousands with one thing, pre-decided clarity. That's what this channel is about. Not theory, not luck, not toxic optimism, but preparation, inner discipline, mental drills. Because survival isn't about being fearless. It's about having practiced so many times that fear has nowhere left to grow. You're not weak because you freeze. You freeze because no one trained you to move. We were trained to wait, to check our phones, to seek approval, to second guess, to be polite, to not cause panic. But nature doesn't negotiate. Fire doesn't wait for your permission. Water doesn't pause for clarification. Earthquakes don't care about your Wi-Fi. So the real question is, will your mind be ready? Because survival doesn't come from instinct. It comes from decision under pressure. And decisions under pressure only work if they've been rehearsed in peace. Here, you'll find something different. Not entertainment, not dramatized failure, not prepping fear porn. You'll find stories that hit like cold truth. You'll find strategies backed by neuroscience, by military, by survivors who've lived through the unthinkable. You'll learn how the brain freezes and how to thaw it. You'll learn the difference between reaction and response. You'll build rituals that override fear. We'll talk about what happens neurologically during an active shooter or a building fire, why looking around the room is the most fatal habit in a crowd, why clarity beats courage, and how to train calm into your body, like a soldier, like a firefighter, like a pilot. We'll do this through true stories, real drills, visualized scenarios, and mindset frameworks designed to become instinct. You don't have to be a hero, but you do have to be ready, because the storm won't ask you. The disaster won't wait. The moment will come, and when it does, it won't check your resume. It won't care if you were successful. It won't care how many books you've read. It will ask one question. Did you freeze? Or did you move? You are not here to be afraid. You are here to build the version of yourself that knows exactly what to do when the noise starts. The version that walks toward clarity. The version that others follow without asking why. The version that doesn't panic because it is practiced peace. So if you felt the whisper, the one that says, don't wait until it's too late, you're already part of this. You are not just a viewer. You are a survivor in training. And it starts now. When disaster strikes, your mind is your weapon. Subscribe to train it. The question isn't whether the world will shake again. It will. In a different form, in a different city. Maybe not with flames, but with silence. Maybe not with water, but with isolation. The disaster might not be global. It might be personal. A sudden diagnosis, a job loss, a betrayal that pulls the ground from under your feet. And when it happens, your nervous system won't care if it's literal or metaphorical. It will freeze, unless it has been taught to move. You don't prepare for survival because you're paranoid. You prepare because you're awake. Because the most dangerous phrase in the world is, "It won't happen to me." And yet it always happens to someone. Someone with plans, with dreams, with good intentions. This time, don't let it be you. This time, you're building something different. A body that stays calm. A brain that acts fast. A soul that holds its line in the chaos. You don't need to live in fear. You just need to stop living in denial. Let the others keep scrolling. Let the world keep numbing itself. You're here because you're ready to feel the edge, to lean into the discomfort, to build the only reflex that matters. Decide, then act. No more freeze. No more wait and see. No more hope someone else knows what to do. The world needs people who don't flinch when the lights go out, who move without waiting, who are calm, not because they're special, but because they're trained. Welcome to that training. Welcome to the mindset most never build. Welcome to Disaster Facts Daily.